AP has a big story today, 111. Really not much news in it. It just rounds up all the Democratic presidential prospects and where they've traveled to, where people are going next. Again, a big focus on Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina, as if we were in a time warp and everybody somehow assumes that those states are going to be first in the nation and have disproportionate influence. Again, a particular focus on South Carolina, but a lot of Iowa and some New Hampshire travel as well. Yesterday, one of the people who was mentioned in that AP story, Governor Beshear of Kentucky, was on the granddaddy of them all, Meet the Press, and he was asked, Governor, will you run for president? 112.
Is it accurate to say you are considering running for president?
Well, right now, what I'm trying to do is speak out for my people and for the American people, especially with this attack on rural America and the big, ugly bill. Next year, I'm the head of the Democratic Governors Association, and because of this attack on rural America, we're going to win a lot of races that people aren't expecting because a lot of Republican governors have said nothing, and their economies are going to get hit, and their people are going to have to drive 2 hours just to see a doctor when they're sick, whether they're covered by Medicaid or private insurance. And then after that, we'll see. I would have never considered this a couple years ago, but I will not leave a broken country to my kids or to anyone else's. And so if I'm somebody that at that point that I believe that I can heal the country, then I'll take a look at
it. Sean, if Governor Beshear came to you and said, Sean, I want to enter and I want to be considered a top tier candidate, what would you tell him he needs to do to be considered a top tier candidate?
Well, first of all, I just want to say, I got to tell you, what Meet the Press has become is a shell of itself from when Tim Russert ran that show. I mean, it is, anyway, I'll leave that aside, but I'd go hire some, I mean, look, the way you become I think you got to hire some quality people that send a message that you're serious. You hire a top fundraiser, you hire a top strategist. I think you go get some big donors aligned with you, set up a super PAC. You got to do the things that show that you've got muscle. And experience so do those things. And then secondly, I think on a tactical standpoint, this is something that we've talked about for a while. I think it's starting to go to places and show a different side of yourself that's authentic and real. I mean, to me, going on, Meet the Press or something like that is very traditional and old school. But I think, him finding ways to do things, and highlight aspects of himself that aren't about him being a governor or a political person is probably important.
Dan, if Governor Beshear called you and said, hey, I saw Sean on the morning meeting say I need to hire a top fundraiser and I want it to be you, what will it take? What would you tell him?
Nothing. I would be divorced. I would be divorced if I got back into this. Look, for one, I actually thought his messaging was good. He's never going to be he's never going to win a charisma prize. He's not going to be the one who goes out and does aggressive stunts the way Gavin Newsom is starting to do them more and more. But, that's a good message. It's authentic. He can speak to rural America better than almost any governor can right now because we don't have a lot of rural governors. So I thought for the cards he has and who he is, that's pretty good. It's hard to raise money when you're a little more vanilla and, ho-hum, like ask Dick Gephardt in 2004 how that went, even with all his history. He struggled pretty mightily. So, but I think it's good. And look, I think at the end of the day, it is great all these Democrats are getting out there because what do we always say? We have no leader, no agenda, and no vision. And you're starting to see people tiptoe out in front. And when there's a big event, stepping forward to speak. That's great.
By the way, I'll give him a B plus, depending on the day, on his response. He worked in some good messaging. I agree with Dan. Yeah. He needs a little bit more like caffeine in there.
Is it possible, not asking to predict, is it possible he will be considered a top tier candidate?
I think so. Given the field on the Republican side, I would say a guy like him who has won a reddish state, who has gotten some positive kudos as governor. I mean, again, he's not my cup of tea, but I would, if I were back at the RNC and I would say I oversaw Oppo for 6 years. I would tell my team, guys, make sure we got to put extra people on this. He is someone that I would have assumed could end up the nominee.
Dan? I think what the calendar is to start. If Iowa goes first and then New Hampshire, and let's say the big beautiful bill has a rough rollout in the next 2.5 years, he has the potential, because I think if he's methodical and it's like, this is who I am going to stick to substance. I'm not going to win again the Twitter, wars. He may end up being top tier.
All right, I don't think so. But
By the way, I'm also judging on a curve. Just I want to be clear about.
Yes.
I'm not impressed with the field.
Yes.
Want more great clips like that? I've got an idea. Hit the subscribe button, be part of the Two-Way community, never miss a clip, and you can always watch our full episodes, join them live, go to twoway.tv.